Good evening, everyone. We are on day 6 of our 21-day chalk challenge. And today I've decided to use Chalk Couture ink. This is a beautiful gold that I have here. It's got a beautiful iridescent finish. And I'm going to get going with this. What I did was I have a ceramic mug, and I just picked it up from the thrift store for 50 cents. I got a pair, and I was hoping to do a Mr. and Mrs., but I didn't have a font that I really enjoyed well enough. So I am going to use, let me place something here so we can get a better look at it. Let's see if we can get it to set up. There we go. All right. So I am going to, by the way, in the future, if you want a ceramic mug or something to sit in place while you're working with it, if you put it in, like if you put down a bag of beans or rice is really good. If you put down a bag of rice and then place your cup down over the rice, it'll hold it in place. So that's a pretty cool tip. But we're going to be using this ink, this Chalk Couture ink, and we're going to be using this gold iridescent, and we're going to be putting on just a simple phrase that says, "Thankful for you." So the Chalk Couture ink is just as easy, maybe a little bit easier to use than the chalk paste itself. So just like we do with all the transfers, I'm just going to find a good place for it. And the great thing about these, obviously, they're repositionable. We can get them where we want them, unlike the transfers or the stencils we cut for ourselves. Can just go ahead and put this where we want it. I hope you guys had a chance to go on and see my finished project from yesterday with the spreading kindness around like confetti. It turned out so cute. I was really excited about the glitter. If you didn't go back and look at the finished picture, I posted it in this group, and it's nice. Okay, so I'm just going to go around the edges of the words to make sure that I have a good connection between the piece, the piece I'm working with, the ceramic piece, and my transfer. All right, so the next thing I'm going to do, I have a little squeegee. So this is a small squeegee, and I cut it into thirds, so just so I can get those small designs without any worry. And I'm going to dip just a little bit. So you think that chalk base goes a long way? This ink really goes a long way. It's worth the money, trust me. So I'm going to put just put the ink over the transfer and just squeegee it like we do everything else. Same exact principles. So we're going to be using a lot less. So I'm doing this on ceramic, but you know, these inks, they're going to be permanent. You got to heat set them for them to be permanent. But I mean, you can make towels and bags and shirts and all kinds of cool stuff, which we will do. We're going to get into some of that in our 21-day period. Okay, so I'm done here, and I'm going to set this aside. Remember always to just, you know, wipe off your excess. Now, this cleans up just the same way the chalk paste does. You can use a disinfectant wipe to wipe it off, and the same thing goes for your transfer. Now, little bit of a difference with this transfer and the ink is that you don't have to work as quickly. You don't have to worry about it drying inside of the transfer. It's going to take a little while for this product to dry. So I'm just going to go ahead and grab it at the end and pull it up. Hey everyone, if you have any questions, thank you, Kathy. Thank you. I'm glad you like it. So I'm going to go ahead and pull this up. Oh, it looks very nice. Ever thankful for you is what it says. So like I said, I'm just going to take this over after this video. I'm going to take this over to the sink, and I'm just going to wipe this, or I could put it on a towel and just wipe this down with a disinfectant wipe on both sides. It doesn't tend to clog up like the chalk paste does. And the other thing about it is sometimes some of the darker inks, they're going to stain your transfer, but don't worry about that. Just take like a Mr. Clean and lightly damp Mr. Clean and rub the outside of the front of the transfer, and that'll get rid of the stain. It's not going to in any way affect the performance of your transfer, but just keeps it looking nice. All right, so we'll put that off to the side, and let's see what we've got here. I actually have a little place where I didn't get a good connection, so while it's still wet, and it's going to be wet for a little while, I'm just going to go ahead and clear that up. Okay, so I wiped it off. Now what we're going to do to set this is, it doesn't look nice, so cute. Ever thankful for you. All right, so I could just wait for this to dry or blow dry it and then put some additional elements on it if I wanted to. But what we're going to do to heat set this, let's say I'm done and I'm happy with this. I'm going to go ahead and put it in the oven. It needs to be an oven safe product. I'm going to put it in the oven, in the cold oven. And I'm going to turn it on to about 350 degrees. Now when I turn it on, after it gets warm, after the oven reaches 350 degrees, I'm going to go ahead and start timing it. And I'm going to go about 30 minutes. Then I'm going to let the oven cool down. And then I know once it's cooled down, I can take my project out and it's going to be done. And it's going to be heat set. Now, I'm going to tell you one of the really cool things that I love about this is I didn't have to weed anything. I'm not worried about dishwasher safe because it is. It's not going to come off like a vinyl would. It's going to be permanent. And it looks just beautiful. All right, you guys, have a good night. If you have any questions, leave it below.